In the upcoming 3 episodes, what we are going to create is a very simple platformer game. So it will look like this. We will have this greeny character and it moves left, right, so left and right. It can jump and it has, if it touches the saw, it just resets its position. And it has also some camera follow, as you can see. So the camera smoothly follows the character and it can jump and so on. And we will create also these rotating death traps or these saws. Okay, in this episode what we are going to do is load the tiled maps. We are going to create a tiled map in the tiled editor using Kenny's assets, and we are going to load and display this tiled map in our game. Okay, first go to the mapeditor.org and download the tiled editor. You can download it from itch.io. So this is the editor what we are going to use for creating the map for, or the levels for our games. And the next thing I'm going to use is an asset, sprite sheet asset from kenny.nl. So go to this website and here click on the assets and 2D, and you will find a lot of free assets from Kenny. So what I'm going to use can be found in here. So click on the 5 and this is the asset pack I'm going to use, this platformer pack industrial. Let's click on this and just download it. So I have already downloaded it. So this downloads a platformer pack _industrial _tilesheet.png. So let's open it. And this is the tile sheet what we are going to use to create our level. Okay, so I have already opened the tile editor and I'm just going to create a new map. So new map, click here, and it should be an orthogonal map, and the map properties will be saved as base64 uncompressed. You can also use CSV or base64 zlib compressed. I'm just going to choose this one. Tile render order is right down, and I'm just going to create a map with 30 tiles in width and 10 tiles in height. And each tile is a 70 by 70 pixels, so width and height. So the end result will be 30 tiles times 70 tiles, so the map will be 2100 pixels in width. And in height it will be 10 times 70, so 700 pixels. Okay, so let's click on the OK and let's enlarge this window and zoom in. And the next thing what you have to do here is create a tile set. So this will be our map, and here in the right side, here you have the layers and a new tile set. Let's click on this new tile set. And the name will be, for example, platformer. I'm going to name it platformer. And type will be based on a tile set image. So if you have a collection of images, separate images, you can choose this one, but I have a tile set. And I'm just going to give it a source, so browse, and it is in this folder, so my map 2, and this is the Kenny's tile set I have just downloaded from Kenny. And open this up, and the tile width is 70 pixels, this is okay, the margin is 0, tile height is also 70 pixels, and the spacing is 0. So let's save it. And here on desktop my map 2, I'm just going to save it as a platformer.tsx. Save. And this is the TSX file. And we have this TMX file. We are going to load the TMX file. And I'm just going to save it also. So save as. Also in the my map 2 folder. And I'm just going to name it platformer, but not this TMJ. I'm just going to choose the TMX format. So platformer.tmx and save. So now in this my map 2 folder we have 3 files. The TMX file, which is the map file, and the TSX file. And both of these files are XML based files, and this is the map data. Let me open also the TSX file, and here it is. And we have also this tile sheet. And a few minutes earlier, when I loaded this file, I gave it 70 by 70, so each of these tile, so this is one tile, this is a second, third, fourth tile, each of this tile has a size of 70 pixels by 70, so width and height, and there is no margin and there is no spacing between these tiles. So the next thing, I'm just going to create 3 tile layers, 1, 2, and name this as the ground. This I'm going to name it as just other, and last layer I'm just going to name it as death. So this will contain the death traps or the souls. Let's go to the ground layer, so select the ground layer, and now we can select here these individual tiles and draw it, for example, like this, and also draw like this and like this. So we have the ground. You can also draw, for example, a platform here like this. So I'm not going to show you everything about the tile editor. I just wanted to quickly do a crash course how to create maps in tile editor. So this is the ground layer. And now let's go to the other layer, and for example, let's place also some things here. For example, this monitor-like stuff, and also, for example, these arrows. So this will be, for example, it can show where the character should go and which object should the character interact with. Okay, and now let's also place some, so select the death layer and also add some of these souls. Okay, so this is how you can create, and then you just have to save it and move the TMX, also the TSX, and also the image file, so the tileset file, in a folder. So I'm just going to show you what I have created earlier. So I have created this level 1 map, and it has 3 layers. The ground layer, which is this one. So this is the static layer, which will Greenie collide with. And also this has this other layer called other, which contains these arrows and also these terminals. And it has this death layer, which contains these soul objects. And if Greenie will touch one of these soul, it will die, or he will die. So I have already saved this, the TMX and also the TSX file, and I'm just going to copy and paste all of these 3 files, the TMX, the TSX, and the platformer Pyglet.png, so the tile set. So copy, go to PyCharm, and I have already prepared this assets folder and these maps, and in these maps I added this level 1, and I'm going to paste everything here. So the industrial TMX, industrial TSX, and the platformer Pyglet.png. And now let's load this. I have already prepared this basic scene. I have added this resource handler, which points to this assets folder, and I have loaded Greenie from using the resource handler and added Greenie to a sprite list called player list, and I'm also driving here the sprite list. So what now we have is just the Greenie character in this position. And let's load now the tiled map, and I'm going to call it level 1, so cell.level1, and using the arcade.load tile map. So this is the resource path, and in this we have the maps folder, level 1 folder, and industrial.tmx. And now that we loaded the TMX file, we can draw the individual layers. So let's draw first the ground. So here in the onDraw method, I'm just going to add the cell.level1.spritelist, selecting the ground and calling the draw method on it. Let me try this out. And as you can see, now we have the ground layer. Also draw the other layer, which contains the terminal and those arrows. So cell.level1.spritelist and selecting the other. So this is a dictionary, and this is the layer name and the draw method. And now it will draw also these, so this arrow and also these terminals. So as we named here in the tiled editor, here is the ground and here is the other layer. That's how we should also draw those, so ground and other. And for the saw, I'm just going to save it first to a separate property. So I can do this, for example, cell.sawList. So this is a sprite list, and I'm just going to set it equal to level1.spritelist and selecting the det which contains all the saw images. The next thing, I'm just going to, of course, draw these saw images or saw sprites. So saw list, the draw, this time we are using the saw list. We just saved it here in this one, in this property. And the reason I did this, I want to make the saw rotate, and also in a later episode I'm just going to add also collision with the sprite, the player sprite, and also with this saw list. So let's make it rotate. For this we will need, of course, the onUpdate function. And in the onUpdate function, I'm just going to loop through the saw list. So for saw in self.sawList, I'm just going to set in every frame the saw's angle. So saw.angle plus equals 10. And now it should rotate, as you can see. And of course, we are only seeing the part of a map. So remember that this map is 2100 pixels in width and 700 pixels in height. So our window is 1280 pixels width. So we are seeing, if I go back to tiled editor, we are seeing only about this part. So for example, like this, nothing more. So in the next episode, we are going to add camera scrolling.